This didn't begin with a headline or a viral clip. It began with panic. Before sunrise in Montecito, before the California day had even properly started, Meghan Markle's carefully controlled world was already under pressure.
I think they're just good stories and whatever. However, Meghan and Harry have an army of...
He won't be let into Britain at all. And that is a major problem for him.
It is a problem, but the reality on that is...
Statement he made, and that in itself was a catastrophe. Because in the end...
According to multiple reports, her phone wouldn't stop buzzing, calls stacking up, messages flooding in, alerts firing one after another. Something had broken through the walls she spent years building. And when people realized what it was, the reaction wasn't curiosity, it was damage control. Because Tom Bower had resurfaced with new material, and when he re-enters a story, reputations don't just wobble, they shake. This is not another recycled royal feud. It's not tabloid noise, and it's not about titles, protocol, or old palace grudges. What's unfolding now is far more dangerous, because it cuts straight to the foundation of how Meghan Markle has presented herself to the world. According to media coverage and insider commentary, new claims attributed to Bower's research are reopening chapters of her past that were believed to be sealed shut. Not through rumors, but through detailed accounts, timelines, and testimony.
About Meghan Markle, people don't just listen. They take notes. In his latest take, it's not just a jab
that have reignited intense scrutiny across both British and American media. To understand why this moment feels different, you need to understand who Tom Bower is. He is not a YouTuber, not a blogger, and not someone chasing attention. He is a veteran investigative biographer with decades of experience exposing powerful figures in politics, business, and media. His reputation isn't built on speculation, it's built on sources who were there, documents that exist, and people willing to talk. When his name enters a conversation, PR teams don't debate whether to respond.
Gets her story wrong, deliberately, because she suggests is when she's already...
They panic, because once Bower locks onto a subject, he doesn't stop until every layer has been peeled back. His earlier work shook the royal narrative to its core, and many believed he had already said everything that needed to be said. The assumption was that the story had reached its limit. But according to recent reporting, that assumption was wrong. What's emerging now suggests Bower didn't finish, he paused. And what's resurfacing is focused on a period Meghan allegedly hoped would remain safely in the past, her Hollywood years before meeting Prince Harry. This isn't about red carpets or magazine covers, it's about the grind. The years of auditions that went nowhere, the industry doors that stayed closed, and the uncomfortable reality of Hollywood success, where talent alone rarely gets you through. Insiders have long said that what really matters is who introduces you, who vouches for you, and who picks up the phone when your name is mentioned. And this is where the narrative starts to get uncomfortable, because the picture now being painted by journalists and industry sources doesn't align neatly with the inspirational, self-made story the public has been sold for years.
Description she does of the Portland hospital, the birth, that was completely fabricated.
No one is claiming criminal behavior. No one is making definitive legal accusations. But serious questions are being asked. According to reported findings attributed to Bower's research, Meghan's rise may have involved strategic relationships that accelerated opportunities, relationships that allegedly faded once they stopped serving a purpose. Former friends, colleagues, assistants, and industry contacts are said to have played roles early on, only to quietly disappear from her life later. In Hollywood,
from the Sussexes, and we know that the Sussexes spokesman Jason Knauf said
that pattern isn't unheard of, but it directly clashes with the loyal, grounded, authentic image that later became central to her brand. The contradiction is what's driving the backlash. For years, Meghan's public identity has been built on themes of sincerity, truth, and lived experience. But when reports suggest calculated networking, image management, and selective storytelling, audiences begin to question how much of the narrative was organic and how much was engineered. The shift in perception is subtle but powerful. It's not outrage, it's doubt. And doubt is far more damaging. Everything reportedly changed the moment Prince Harry entered her life. According to multiple accounts, Meghan was no longer just an actress navigating Hollywood. She was stepping into one of the most scrutinized institutions on earth. And when that happens, your past doesn't just get examined, it gets curated. Bauer's reporting suggests elements of her background, upbringing, and career were reframed, polished, or downplayed to fit a new royal narrative. These weren't small adjustments, they were structural changes. Timelines softened, stories refined, relationships emphasized or erased depending on how well they fit the image being constructed. What makes this particularly striking is how deliberate it appears. The accounts circulating suggest this wasn't panic or improvisation, it was methodical. Every detail mattered, because every detail would be examined. Becoming part of the royal orbit doesn't allow for messy backstories. And according to the emerging narrative, Meghan understood that perfectly.
Back to the story. The palace still refused. They told the BBC, "Do not apologize. What we said is true." This wasn't a misunderstanding.
The situation reportedly escalated when Meghan realized just how much Bauer had uncovered. Not surface-level information or recycled interviews, but private conversations, personal moments, and details that could only have come from people close to her. That realization is said to have triggered intense anxiety, because if the information didn't come from public records, it had to come from someone she trusted. Former staff, old Hollywood contacts, palace aides, possibly even family. That unanswered question alone has fueled non-stop speculation. At the same time, this renewed scrutiny is colliding with another problem: the post-royal business ventures. The Netflix partnership that failed to maintain momentum, the Spotify deal that collapsed publicly, lifestyle branding efforts that generated buzz but not lasting traction. Each setback might have been manageable on its own, but combined with allegations questioning authenticity, the impact compounds. A brand built on transparency and truth begins to wobble when audiences start comparing promises with outcomes. Viewers are now re-watching old interviews, re-examining speeches, lining up timelines. The inconsistencies they're noticing may seem small in isolation, but together they create a pattern that's hard to ignore. And once people start asking whether one part of the story was curated, they start questioning everything else. This has also reopened the long-running issue of Meghan's estrangement from her father.
Commercially minded, which we'll get into later on, which makes it impossible for him. And of course, Meghan wouldn't come back to Britain.
Harry and Meghan.
For years, the public narrative was simple. He betrayed her trust by engaging with the media, and she cut him off. End of story. But Bauer's investigation reportedly revisits this account, not to defend anyone, but to question whether the public was given the complete picture. When family conflict becomes a cornerstone of a public persona, even minor cracks in that story can have major consequences. Timing is what makes this moment especially dangerous. Public enthusiasm has cooled, business momentum has stalled, and now the foundation of Meghan's personal narrative is being challenged, not by anonymous trolls, but by journalists, former supporters, and observers who once defended her passionately. When skepticism reaches your own base, the damage accelerates. And then there's Harry, reportedly caught in the middle.